Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Expat Conversations with Michael Nolen. Once again, we are allowed to have this program through the University of Guadalajara Institute of Innovation, Investigation, and Governance, which is headed up by Dr. Marco Antonio Cortez Gradado. And I want to say thank you very much, Dr. Cortez, for allowing us to have the program through the University of Guadalajara website. Also want to say thank you very much to the Monte Carlo Hotel here on the west side of the beautiful city of Chapala, Jalisco, Mexico, which is just on the north side of Lake Chapala. And I want to say thank you to Monte Carlo Hotel for allowing us to film all of our episodes here. I have a very interesting gentleman this morning on my show, Daniel Houck. Houck. Sorry I mispronounced it, but I'm pretty good at mispronouncing names.
Everybody does.
Well, I want to say thank you very much for taking your time to be on here. If you wouldn't mind, I'm going to ask you to give a short bio, where you're from, how you got down here to the lakeside area, how long you've been here, and then we'll get into the different organizations, in particular Chapala, i.e. Graffiti website that you're on and part of, and we'll go from there. So again, thank you for being on the show, and I'll turn the mic over to you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Well, I guess it started when I was born in Washington, D.C., but when I was relatively young, we moved to Phoenix, Arizona.
So you know where Falls Church is?
I'm sorry?
Falls Church, Virginia?
No.
It's right outside Washington, D.C.
Actually, Hyattsville.
Okay.
But at that time, D.C. General was the only hospital. So
wow.
I was born there. So I'm actually formally born in the District of Columbia.
Well.
But we moved to Arizona because my brother and I both had bad asthma. And so I grew up in Arizona, went to Arizona State University, and got a fellowship to the University of Texas. So I have a bachelor's in engineering and a master's in engineering. And I was
You're a Sun Devil and a Longhorn.
registered in a number of states and did process design work and also technology transfer.
Wow.
In the early days of the US EPA, when they were primarily a scientific and technical organization and not a pack of lawyers. Okay, so I traveled in England and Europe and visited treatment plants and got very detailed information about them. At that time, now we're talking 50 years ago, they were just way ahead of us.
Wow.
This was at the beginning of the whole environmental cleanup movement. And so they were doing things that we hadn't dreamed of. So I did that. I wrote how-to manuals. The EPA sent me around the country, and I did presentations to rooms full of engineers. It was a very interesting part of my life.
Now, were you part of the government itself, or were you an individual consultant?
I was working as an individual consultant.
Wow.
It just turned out that was the best way to do it. I did have stints in environmental consulting with a couple companies, and actually, when I started out at University of Texas, I was working for a pollution equipment manufacturer. But
Well, Texas has a lot of chemical plants, a lot of petroleum plants.
We did a lot of petroleum and
chemical things.
paper.
Yeah, paper and pulp down.
Those are the two real big polluters, particularly paper plants. There's just so much oxygen demand coming out of that waste. And at that time, it was really at the beginning. You know, every river in the country was polluted. But what happened is that as I moved into regular environmental consulting, then I got involved in this whole business of advanced process design and what they were doing in Europe. And I also did some drinking water work, principally in the areas of carbon exchange, ozone, chlorine dioxide, that kind of thing. This stuff's all kind of technical. But now you see these are all standard processes here in North America.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that in a lot of ways Mexico reminds me of where the U.S. was 50 years ago in terms of cleaning up the environment.
Yeah, they're working hard on it. I had a great opportunity several years ago to interview and watch a movie that was produced by Bianca Jagger, Mick Jagger's first wife, and she's very, very big into ecology and trying to save the world. And she was talking mainly about the pollution that comes into Lake Chapala from a lot of the big international corporations that do industrial type work, and they have plants all located around this area and on the tributaries of the waterways that come in to Lake Chapala, trying to get it all cleaned up and get the politicians to, they were fining a lot of these companies but for the pollution, but they weren't really doing what they needed to do after they paid their fines. So it was very, very interesting. She made a good documentary all about it. And so she mentioned in that documentary that, yeah, Mexico was way, way, way behind a lot of the world in doing that kind. But they are trying. I've had several other interviews and conversations with people that are working with the water systems around here and trying to help the environment in different ways. So you got to walk before you can run.
I'm sorry?
You have to walk before you can run.
Yeah,
So-
well, I think I always find that difficult to accept that a lot of these companies are international companies, and they come down here and do things they'd never get away with.
Yeah, and
in
they
the US,
realize that.
Canada or Europe, okay, or really anywhere in the European Union now.
Mm-hmm.
But they come down here and they pollute and they pay off rather than clean up.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and that's very, very sad. But hopefully, there is an optimistic, looking forward future for Mexico, and they're going to try and start doing better. Well, one reason I wanted to have you on the show is I knew you were involved in an organization that tries to stop or paint over graffiti. A lot of young artists and a lot of young people want to tag walls, houses, streets, bridges, whatever, with their graffiti. And it's art to them, but other people look at it as a hindrance. It destroys property. It disfigures property and bridges and things. And you all, through your organization, I'll let you explain more what you do and how you got involved with that and go
Okay.
from there, if you don't mind.
Well, we moved down here in 2008, and it was kind of funny. We followed a friend down here, and we just, like, at that time, this was a much quieter area, and we bought a house in Houck, and I'm looking around, and there's this graffiti around the neighborhood. Well, I didn't think too much of that. Let me, before I get into the history here, there's graffiti as art, okay? And there's graffiti as gang sign.
Mm-hmm.
And graffiti is just plain mean-spirited vandalism, all right?
That's true.
Some little delinquent running around with a can of black paint and spraying on white walls or rocks or bricks or something, that he is not an artist.
No, he's defacing property, and then it costs a lot of money to clean that off, and there's a lot of profanity and a lot of rude signs and gang affiliation,
sign.
things like that.
We had, in Houck, there were two principal gangs, which they're still around, but they've calmed down a lot. And one of them was based at Six Corners, and they called themselves Tecoluta. The other one was kind of based along Guadalupe, Guadalajara, and they were called San Gaspar. And so the one, they would write TCL everywhere for Tecoluta, and the other one would write SG everywhere. And there was this competition going on between them. They were basically, so between the two is where you find most of the tagging, because they were basically contesting the territory.
And now there's a big gang that says OXXO. I don't know which. I see that sign everywhere.
Yeah. So
I don't know what gang that
anyhow,
is. They have good stuff in the
basically,
stores.
I got started on just painting over in my neighborhood, and I, you know, I got interested in it. I spent some time because I never had to deal with it in New Mexico, where we lived last.
What part of New Mexico did you live in?
Albuquerque.
Oh, that's a beautiful city.
Albuquerque, North Valley.
Oh, it's a beautiful area. A lot of history, a lot of art, a lot of Native Americans. Beautiful part of the country.
And a lot of wind.
A lot of wind. It gets pretty hot there
man,
too, doesn't it?
You can't have no idea what the wind is like there. So anyhow, the first thing I learned when I started studying this is that there's the different kinds. And some of it really is art.
Mm-hmm.
But those are not the people who are going to go around uninvited and start painting on your wall or painting on public property.
Yes.
You know? Then there's the wannabes artists, and they will do that because they're not sanctioned. And then, but around here, mostly, almost all what we were dealing with was gang sign. Okay? And that's just a scrawly. They usually use black paint.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they use red or yellow. And you know who's doing it. They have a definite characteristic. So I simply started, one of the things I learned very early is that the way to suppress it is do not leave it up more than 24 hours. And so I got involved in it locally, and then the garden club, it turns out, in Ahihik had been paying somebody periodically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'd hire somebody and give them some paint, and every couple of months they'd go out and paint a bunch of it out. Well, then they'd disappear, so the taggers would just come back, put it right back up, and there it would be again. And anyhow, one of the first things I did when I got in contact with them was explain to them that doesn't work and why it doesn't work. So we ended up with a kind of a small group of volunteers. We had one guy, we had a couple guys north of the Carretera, a couple guys south of the Carretera. There's only like 4 of us.
Okay.
For Ahi. And we had a gentleman over in San Antonio whose wife was her thing was that she absolutely hated these banners that they put across the road, you know, without permission.
Yeah.
But she'd go out there and take them down. I mean,
One-person army.
Yeah, and her husband kind of got involved in the San Antonio cleanup. And then he actually, you know, he and I, we kind of extended on east to Chapala and recruited some people down there. Okay, but he did a lot. I would say he was the principal guy in getting something done in Chapala. And Chapala is kind of lagging a little bit at this point, I would say. We've got them pretty much intimidated in Ahihik and San Antonio. But she died and he moved on. I don't know what happened to him. We had there was a formal anti-graffiti group in Chapala. I don't know if they're still active or not. I'm 78 now, and I can't do the whole lakeside anymore.
Well, yeah, I can understand that.
So, anyhow, all we did, when this first got going, I was probably spending 10 to 12 hours a week on it. and a couple $100 a month in supplies. And I was pretty much on my own. And then the garden club came in and they picked up the cost of the supplies. And I had a lot of people who, I asked for donations of acrylic paints in different colors. So I ended up with a whole wall of paint because we would try our best to color match.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
But if we couldn't, then we would primer. And then we would hope that the homeowner would get the hint and come out and paint their wall with the colors they have. So we I would say it took less than a year to get it under control. And it was all about going out 2-3 times a week, driving back and forth, spotting. And I had a bunch of volunteer spotters. They'd send me email. Well, there's a tag at this corner. They take a picture. And if they took a picture or they describe it, then I knew what supplies to take out to paint it out. It was just a matter of staying on it every week.
Yeah, because once it gets going, it gets rolling like a ball down a hill. You can't stop it.
Right.
And it just grows and grows and grows. But that's great that you had the volunteers to help you. And is the program still pretty much in effect? Everybody's still helping you out?
No, you know what? It pretty much, I believe John Thrall is probably still working on the north side of the Carretera. But, I pretty much do the whole village of Houck by myself because and I picked up a couple tags on the way over here. But I'm telling you, it's down to a level where I don't do it even every week.
Well, it's a shame the kids waste their time and energy. When there's so much good young kids and young people can do, when they're wasting their time and energy going around destroying people's property, I don't think anybody really ever pays any attention to them. And
well,
it's such a shame that
one
they
of
do
the
it.
things that has happened in Houck, the way the population of that area has changed somewhat. And these two gangs I mentioned are a shadow of their former selves.
That's good.
They some of them have grown up and moved on, and they just haven't been replaced. And the other thing I have to say is that when the community saw that we were serious, that we were going after it, they started, and they saw that we could beat these guys, they started taking care of their own property more.
That's great.
And one of the things that I think that happened in Houck that's so great, and also in San Antonio, is the people who wanted to do serious art, wall art, murals, and whatnot, saw that it was suppressed to the point that they could put a beautiful mural up, and then when some clown wouldn't come along and destroy it in a matter of hours, okay? Houck and also in San Antonio is becoming quite a popular place for doing some really nice wall murals.
Oh, there's beautiful, beautiful artists. As I was mentioning earlier to you, I've got a very good friend that I guess in the late 60s he started being a graffiti type artist in East LA and ended up doing murals, and he is a very, very famous artist today and does a lot for the movie industry, and he has a huge mural in the City Hall of Los Angeles. I mean, this kid went from a gangbanger in East LA doing graffiti to painting a huge mural in City Hall of Los Angeles. He's done work for Harvard University, a lot for the movie industry, but that's, if you can get a hold of the kid and educate and say, hey, if you want to paint things and you're an artist, let's do it the right way. Let's paint a nice mural. Let's paint something beautiful, something that can last and stay there forever, instead of something that wants to be covered up again very quickly because it's just graffiti or, it's not art. And it's education of the children or the kids doing this stuff. Now, it's not always kids. Some of it can be adults. But that's great that you all got a handle on it and started to suppress it.
Well, this has really become a world issue. If you look at you go to Europe today and some of the cities, they're just covered.
I just got back from London. I was in London and stayed in the Hampstead area, which is a very, very nice part of northwest London, and it's just everywhere. And in Guadalajara, you go to Guadalajara, and it just seems like there's so much more and worse than is here.
It's sad to see Guadalajara. It really is, because Guadalajara is a beautiful, beautiful city.
Well, we were just over there the other week, I guess 2 weeks ago, and there was a crew of about 6 guys doing nothing but trying to repaint some of the more historical buildings in Guadalajara, because people had been doing graffiti on the municipal buildings, on the governmental type buildings, museums, things like that. It's just so sad that, you know, the community can't get to these kids and get them channeled their energy in a positive direction instead of something negative.
One of the things that was an advantage of coming from Albuquerque, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Albuquerque has what is considered to be one of the best anti-graffiti programs by a municipality in the country. And basically, when I lived in Albuquerque, they were just really getting this going. But right off, their deal was, if we get a report by 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., it'll be gone that day. And what they did is they equipped like, I think they have like 4 trucks with paint composing equipment. In other words, they could mix the color right on the spot. It wasn't cheap what they did, but it was extremely effective. So a couple guys are on the truck, they go out to see a tag on a wall, or even a cement wall, and they match the background color so well, and they spray it right out. And
well, if I remember, Albuquerque is mostly reddish brown anyway. I mean, everything, the houses, it's they like that desert color. They like everything to blend in. But that's great.
Sounds more like Santa Fe.
Well, maybe Santa Fe, Sedona, Arizona. I know that the city of Houston, where I lived for a long time, they actually had a graffiti type group, and the kids, or the people that were going out covering the graffiti, were prisoners in the county jail. They had 2 or 3 different groups that they would take a half dozen prisoners, and some of them would go pick up trash all over the different parts of the county, and some of them, they had 2 groups that just did nothing but repaint over graffiti that had been painted around the city of Houston. But it's sad that we have to spend resources and time and energy doing that, but it just seems like it's part of the culture. But I'm glad it's dying out in this area, and it's probably because of people like yourself that have worked hard, and the garden club that have been involved in trying to get, this taken care of. So thank you for that. I appreciate all the time and energy. And do you need more help from the expat community? If someone's watching the program today and needs
well, they're always
volunteers to help,
we can always use a little help. I'd like to see I think the effort needs to revitalize here in Chapala.
Okay. How about the government?
More tags
do you all have any kind of
to.
relationship with the municipality of Chapala?
Right. Well, the municipality is doing a pretty good job down on the waterfront. The municipality doesn't do anything in Ahi. That's a sore spot in Ahi. They don't do anything about anything in Ahi. They don't fix the streets or anything else.
Well, we
just take our money. But they definitely do a good job along the waterfront here. But I'm seeing more graffiti back away from the water. But it is not nearly what it was
when you all started the program.
12 years ago.
Is there an email or a contact information that you can give out now to our listeners that will, if they do see something, some graffiti, that they can contact you and have you?
Yes. Why don't you, if you are interested in communicating with me, the best way is to send me an email. And the email address is really pretty simple. It's HOUCK1022@gmail.com.
Okay.
And in fact, a lot of people still communicate with me. I'll get a email every now and then. There's a tag over here, and I'll.
And just mention what you saw, where you saw it. If you take a photograph and send it, that'd be helpful, I'm sure.
Oh, very helpful. If I get a photograph, I know what the tag is and I know what the background is.
And if you have some extra time on your hand and you like to paint, instead of doing it on a canvas, give them a call and you can be a volunteer and go out and help him make this area where we all live, our community, a more beautiful place. And if you see some of these kids tag them, report them. I mean, that's, it might stop them more than anything. Holler at them, scream at them, they'll probably run off. They're not going to stand there and defend themselves.
I'm not going anywhere. We're here in Mexico for good.
Yeah.
We love it here.
Well,
this is a beautiful community, and we don't need that kind of blight. And the other, you stopping gang graffiti, you're cutting crime too, because that's how they communicate and that's how they intimidate.
Well, it's been a great education this morning on learning about what you've learned and that it was all mainly gang related and things are going out. Is there anything else? We've talked quite a bit about different things, about the Graffiti IE and all that. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Is there any other organizations you're involved in that could use a shout out or anything?
Yeah, not too much. I used to ride motorcycle all over Mexico. Boy, that was a blast. I just got a little too old for the crazy roads and drivers.
Well, yeah, traffic isn't the greatest around here, but there are some beautiful, beautiful parts of Mexico to see.
This is the main thing I still do. I just think it's more important than anything, particularly now that we have all this great mural activity going on. We don't want that to stop. We don't want people to come out and get the idea they can vandalize that stuff.
Yeah, because they do spend a lot of time there. Well, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being on the program, and I appreciate you giving out information, and I'm sure the whole community appreciates what you do and getting rid of the graffiti in this part of the world.
Well, I've never had anybody criticize it, and the Mexican community likes it a lot. They're not comfortable with being involved in a lot of cases because, remember, it is a form of intimidation.
That's true. Well, again, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and look forward to talk to you. And if you are listening, if you do see some, he gave out the email. Go ahead and contact him, and let's make this place more beautiful. Well, I want to say thank you once again for tuning in to this episode of Expat Conversations with Michael Nolen. I appreciate you tuning in, and tell your friends and relatives and amigos and amigas all about the show so they can watch also all the different episodes we've had on YouTube so far. And again, thank you very much to the University of Guadalajara Institute of Innovation, Investigation, and Governance for allowing us to have this program. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next show.
Happy trail.